My name is Brad Lushman, and I'm one of your academic advisors in computer science at Waterloo. In this video, I'd like to talk about one of the interesting and somewhat confusing facts about CS at UW. We actually have two different computer science degrees. In fact, there are many paths you can follow through computer science. We have specializations, joint programs, there's data science, there's a double degree program with Laurier, but we can talk about those in another video. Even aside from all of those paths, there are two computer science degrees at Waterloo, the BCS and the BMath. What I'd like to talk about today is a bit of the historical context that explains why both degrees exist, what the differences are between them, and in addition I'll answer some common questions related to those two degrees. So let's start a bit with the history and try and explain why we have both of these degrees. Historically, the BMath is the original degree. Computer science at Waterloo began as the Department of Applied Analysis and Computer Science, later just named the Department of Computer Science, and at that time every math student earned a BMath. In 2002, the Department of Computer Science became a school, recognizing the fact that computer science still exists within the Faculty of Mathematics, but it does have sort of a distinct identity of its own. As part of that, a new degree called the BCS was designed. It made its debut in the 2003-2004 calendar. And it was designed with flexibility in mind. Basically what they did was they traded away a little bit of the math requirements from the BMath degree in favor of giving you a bit more freedom in terms of what you wanted to study. So which one would you pick? Because they're both still available. You would study the BMath if you really wanted to earn a traditional math degree, but you would like to focus your mathematical energies on computer science. So you would take all of the math core that every other math student does, and then when the time comes to take elective math courses, they would be computer science courses. And you would take the BCS if you're interested in the increased freedom that comes with having the lesser math requirements, where you still could study some math if you wanted to, or more computer science, or courses outside the faculty. Another way of looking at the difference between them is just to look at the calendar and see what the requirements are. And if you do that, you will see that the two degrees differ basically by 7 courses. If you are doing the BMath, you have to complete the full math core that other math students take. So in particular, that means taking Math 235 and Math 237. You also have to take 3 upper year non-CS math. There are a few restrictions on what those can be. You can check the calendar for details, but basically almost every course that the math faculty offers at that level would count. You also have to take CS 360 or 365. That's our Theory of Computation course. And CS 370 or 371, which is Scientific Computing. The BMath, on the other hand, all of these are optional. They're all traded in favor of flexibility. You still can take some or all of them if you want. It's up to you. Like I said, you can take this flexibility and use it to take math courses, computer science courses, or courses outside the faculty. It's entirely up to you. A common question that we get about the BCS versus the BMath is, can I switch between them? If I'm in the BCS, can I switch to the BMath? If I'm in the BMath, can I switch to the BCS? The answer is yes. It's perfectly fine. Just come and see us. We also get questions about whether one is easier to transfer into than the other, i.e. you're not in CS right now, you're looking to join CS. Does it matter if I ask for the BMath or if I ask for the BCS? Does one give me an advantage over the other? The answer is no. We're able to accept a pool of a given size of students every term, and it doesn't matter whether you ask for BMath or BCS. If we decide that we have a spot for you in computer science, we will then ask you which you want. So no, it doesn't make a difference from the perspective of transferring. Specializations, well, all of the specializations that we offer, things like software engineering or business or digital hardware, are available for both. So that is not a reason to pick the one over the other. I should point out, however, that there are certain rules within the faculty that says if you're going to do a double major or a joint major with another math degree, so say you wanted to double major with applied math or joint major with CO or something, then you have to do the BMath. And that should not represent much of a hardship, because if you're doing another math program, then you're going to have to take the rest of the math core and 3 non-CS math courses, more than that anyway. So the only real restriction there is these 2 CS courses. On the other hand, if you were looking on doing a joint degree with a program outside the faculty, then you have to do the BCS. But if neither of those cases applies to you, then it is simply a matter of preference. I should point out there is the BMath data science, and that is actually a little bit different because it is offered through the Department of Statistics, not through us. So if you're interested in that, you should talk to them. But the data science degree is something we could potentially talk about in another video. So I hope that answers most of your questions about the differences between these 2 degrees. If you have any additional questions, you can certainly email us at CS Advisor. The email address should be right above me. And I thank you for your time.